Public Schools Board of Education is called to order. This meeting is a meeting of the Southfield Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda item number 8. I would ask that we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Cole, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Be prepared as they take that next step to post-secondary education. can. Is that we're going to really work together with the district to highlight some of the first in the world ever practice and participation and test preparation that we've ever had. So the College Board has uniquely partnered with an organization called Kahn Academy. If you're not familiar with Kahn Academy is the leading tutoring kind of website out there available. And so what we've done with Kahn Academy is work with them in partnership to develop free practice and test preparation for all students regardless of where you live. Because to the College Board as an organization, it's the side of the street that you live on or the zip code that you're born in should not determine your access to great quality, accessible tools, practice, and preparation. So what we're going to do is work hand in hand with Southfield Public Schools to lay out a full implementation plan for students to use Kahn Academy. And the great beauty of Kahn Academy is that the site went live for students last Thursday, I believe. And every student right now can go in and take an interim diagnostic, about a 20-25 minute, and what will be created will be a customized learning plan for each student, based upon their own academic skills and abilities aligned to the SAT, which are then aligned to the Michigan State standards. So this way, students will have meaningful, unique practice in the things that matter most, that can be translated back into the classroom and we can support them instructionally, but then also preparing all students to be successful on the SAT come spring 2016. We'll also be working to really look at the data in a great level of detail, use that data to drive instructional practice and change. We'll be using that data to work with teachers, administrators, central office, counselors, to advise students on the best way to move forward, how to use that information, and most importantly, how do we communicate all of this new stuff to all of you? How do we create the right templates, the right information? How can we make this so accessible so it's a great winning partnership for all students? And so this unique partnership with Southfield Public Schools is something we're very delighted to do. It's not something that we have the capacity to do anywhere else in the state or let alone in the country. But because of the commitment to the board, because of Superintendent Wood and many faculty and many of you, we're able to really dive down into this work to support the students in a way that's meaningful and engaging, so we can really try and figure out what matters most, but connect students to what they need to know, and where it can pinpoint their strengths, and more importantly, their opportunities for growth, and give them meaningful practice that can be connected, adapted, used in the classroom, and prepare them for preparation as they move on to take the SAT in the spring. So we're really excited to enter into this unique partnership with all of you. We will be able to put a memorandum of understanding of what this work will look like, the commitment to do leadership meetings, preparation, training, all of the very unique partnership, because it takes the partnership to really move things forward, as opposed to just random acts of work trying to be connected. If we can think about what this work would look like and design it over the next 3-4 years and set some real goals on both ends, I'm confident that we can make the changes and, more importantly, move students into academic positions that we know that can be very successful. So we're very delighted to be here, very delighted to share this very unique opportunity that's really here only in Southfield Public Schools, and be able to continue to elaborate and build upon that in the years to come. Thank you.
Wish to thank you, Hor. I just want to again acknowledge for the board and for myself the continued support and work over the years, and I'm excited about the continued and the strengthened partnership that we will have with College Board as we launch and move into this new era of assessments with the SAT, and to be a leader and a site for that kind of development here in the state of Michigan, here in Southfield Public Schools. So again, I thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And we as a board also thank you for all of your learning, training, and willingness to do this. I can't wait to see the memorandum on the stage. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to recognize our 2015 Waiver Free Junior Scholarship recipients. Southfield Public Schools is proud to announce that 33 and a 24 University of Michigan scholarships with an approximate value of $40,000. Under the terms of this unique educational scholarship opportunity, Southfield Public Schools 9th grade students were awarded scholarships covering full tuition and fees totaling $1.5 million. We are so proud of you. So as we call your names, students, please come on to the stage.
And at this time, students from Southfield High School, Tyler Armstrong, just make your way down to the stage. Christian Avalon, Maya Bryant, Shannon Harper, Donovan Lennard, Ralph Mason, Dexter McCullum, Christopher Mosby, Joshua Taylor, Cameron Walker, and Eric Winston. Come on down, very wonderful. Students from the University High School Academy, Derek Parker, Christian Duvall, Caleb Edwards, Cameron Everett, Ryan Moore, Aaron Parker, Kamari people, Jasmine Smith, Jackson Dale, Monique Wheeler, and Madison Whitaker. From Southfield Lathrop High School, Khadijah Dandridge, Kevin Davis, Destiny Hodgson, Giselle Jackson, Purity Wanda, Kristen Mossy, Vercel Richardson, Mr. Sadel, Carlton Taylor, Amari Walker, and Kyler Williams. We are so proud.
Now I'd like to please stand and give our students a round of applause. Please. We all deserve it. And at this moment, students, can you turn around and make sure you shake the hands of your board. Thanks again, audience. And would the parents, guardians, and family and friends please stand with these students to be recognized as well, because without your support, we can make it as students. Thank you. We will now go to special recognition of our 2014-2015 Student Board representatives. The Southfield Board of Education trustees acknowledge the dedication and efforts of the Student Board representatives who served during the 2014-2015 school year. Ms. Shana Hodge is not here tonight, but Ms. Sydney Fuller will accept her award. Come on up on stage, please. Brianna Richardson from Southfield Lathrop High School, Aries Rutledge from University High School Academy, and Kyra Bradford from Southfield High. Let's give them a round of applause. Great job. This is a lot of commitment of these students to spend their time that they could be studying and doing other things, to learn the parliamentary procedures, how to conduct themselves in public speaking, as well as making sure that we, the board, are informed on some of the school concerns and issues. One more time, nice round of applause. And again, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the parents, guardians, uncles, aunts, aunts, and all those grandparents. Please stand for our student reps too. Are in the audience. Introducing the 2015-2016 Student Board Representatives. The following students were selected or have been selected to serve as Student Board Representative for the 2015-2016 school year. Ms. Ariel Ginyard, Southfield Lathrop High School. Mr. Royal Bird, University of Kansas. Mr. Jeremy Bolt, Southfield Regional Academic Campus. He is absent today due to a wedding. And I don't want to mess this up, Ms. Boyd is from Southfield High School. Brianna, thank you, Brianna Boyd. These are your student representatives for the school year 2015-2016. At this time, although we feel remiss, we'll be hearing the last report from our current representatives. We will start with Ms. Brianna Richardson, Southfield Lathrop High School.
And I was a senior this year at Southfield Lathrop High School. I was a member of National Honor Society, DECA, Executive Board, Varsity Cheerleading, Arts Academy, and also the IB program. I'm here to give my last report on the charter. The Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was at Lathrop on May 12th to register voters for the spring. Over 50 seniors filled out voter registration information. The Senior Honors Brunch was on the afternoon of May 20th at the St. John's Activity Center. With this day being the seniors' last day of school, it was an extremely rewarding event. Students were recognized for their academic success and also for the various clubs and activities they participated in. Mr. Lopez was our guest speaker. Dr. Wood and board members Daryl Joyce were also there to celebrate with us. The class of 2015 senior prom was on May 21st at the Rooster Tail. The students had a great time at the Elegant Night to Remember. On May 27th, the Southfield Lathrop High School Band, along with the Levy Middle School Band, put on a joint spring concert. It was in Lathrop Auditorium and the audience was packed. Thank you, Dr. Charles and Mr. Smith, for organizing this event. Also, on May 27th, 11 ninth graders from Lathrop Southfield High School and University received the Junior Wayne Creek Scholarship. On June 2nd, our Supportive Services Department sponsored an open house for all of our incoming ASD students. These parents were given the opportunity to meet the staff at Lathrop and also tour our building. The first annual Arts Academy banquet will be tomorrow evening at the Vernon Manor in Wagonia. Students will receive their medallions at this event. We are having a Jason Jones football camp at Lathrop on Friday and Saturday, June 12th and 13th. June 12th will be for grades 1st through 8th, and June 13th will be for grades 9th through 12th. This Sunday, June 14th, all commencement ceremonies for SPS seniors will be held at Shane Park. We look forward to this special day. Please wish all of us the best of luck in our future endeavors. At this time, I would like to thank the administrators at Southfield Lathrop and the Board of Education for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve as the board representative. Along with this, you all gave me the chance to report at the Lathrop Village City Council meeting. Both of these experiences have impacted my future. I decided to attend Howard University and majored in broadcast journalism so that I can become a professional reporter someday. I've gained not only public speaking skills, but leadership skills as well. This has been a phenomenal year, and I wish all of next year's representatives the best of luck. I thank you all for your time. I've enjoyed presenting to you for the past 10 months. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you once again, Ms. Richardson. Ms. Aries Rutledge from University High School Academy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Aries Rutledge, and this will be my last time delivering the latest news at the U. You students have been preparing for finals as the last official day of the school year approaches us, Tuesday, June 16th. Welcome night will take place that same evening in the school auditorium. Incoming 8th and 9th graders will have the opportunity to attend an orientation June 16th at 6 p.m. to learn more about the U and have the chance to meet and converse with current students and staff. Mark your calendars, UPrep and UHSA community, because our annual back-to-school picnic will take place August 11th at Pebble Creek Park. Bring your family and friends out to enjoy a night of fun, of raffles, games, a barbecue, and this year, our very first Powder Puff game. I'd like to take a moment to give a special thank you to Superintendent Dr. Linda Wood, members of the Board of Education, and the administration for allowing me the opportunity to serve you all in my community. This experience has broadened my perspective of school operations because as an SPS student of 11 years, I have never been able to fully grasp the amount of time and effort that goes into preparing each and every student for life. I am proud to be a graduating SPS student because this school district has provided me the foundation I need to succeed at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, this fall as a biology major. Thank you everyone for listening. Did it go up? Oh. Thank you everyone for listening, and remember that we're nurturing tomorrow's leaders today. Go Eagles!
Thank you, Ms. Kyra Bradford from Southfield High School.
My name is Kyra Bradford, and I was a senior at Southfield High School. I was a member of the marching band, and I worked in the Michigan First Credit Union. I was also a member of the Principal's Council, and here's my final bulletin report. The Southfield students are continuing to work hard in the classroom. 274 students had a GPA of 3.0 or higher to make the fifth card marking. On Saturday, April 18th, members of the Principal's Council, Scholars Plus, National Honor Society, SSC, and FX teams came together for Volunteer Day to help keep Southfield beautiful. Students built picnic tables, did landscaping, and enjoyed fellowships to improve our school's look. On May 13th, students from all grade levels were honored at our annual honors assembly. The senior class were spotlighted as they received their honor corps, NHS badges, and over $12 million in scholarships they have earned are showcased. The music department hosted the Spring Extravaganza in the auditorium on May 13th. This annual event was the final performance of 2015 school year for the music department and paid homage to the senior class. It's almost that time. We're kind of down to days. Seniors will walk across the stage at Shane Park this Sunday, June 14th at 9 a.m. as they celebrate graduating from Southfield High School. The Blue Jay track team completed lead competition with the first place finish in the OAA Blue Jay track meet. They gave the Blue Jays an outright lead championship in boys track and field. This is the third league title for the Blue Jays in 4 seasons. The Blue Jays also had 4 track athletes make All-State on the weekend of May 31st at the MHSAA State Finals held in Rockford. Coach Tim Conley concluded the 2014-2015 school year as head coach of 3 league championship teams, football, wrestling, and track. This is the first time in school and OAA history an individual has accomplished this. The Lady J track team also had 4 athletes honored as All-State at the state finals, highlighted by a third-place finish in the 100-meter dash by Kirsten Wiltshire. For more updates on what's going on at SHS, visit the South J newspaper's digital edition at www.southfieldj.com. I would like to thank you again for giving me this opportunity to represent my school to the Board of Education. It has been my honor and privilege to serve in this capacity. Let's go Southfield, where Blue Jays soar.
Thank you so much. Ms. Shana Hodge couldn't be with us tonight, but I'd like to publicly thank her for her outstanding leadership. But standing in for her is Ms. Sydney Fuller from Southfield Regional Academic Campus.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Dr. Linda Wood, Central Office staff, and administrators, Southfield School staff, parents, students, and guests. My name is Sydney Fuller, and I'm your substitute student board member from Southfield Regional Academic Campus. On May 19th, Mr. Solomon, Ms. Sonia Johnson, and Mr. Robinson took our STEM students on a field trip to the Ford Assembly Factory. On May 28th, C2 Pipeline and STEM staff had a picnic, and Mr. Robinson took our STEM students on a field trip to the Ford Assembly Factory. On May 28th, C2 Pipeline and STEM staff had a picnic for all C2 and STEM students. The afternoon was filled with good food, fun, games, and prizes. I would like to give recognition to Jalen Smith for earning a 3.0 credit through his participation in the OCC Man Up program. On June 4th, the STEM Club went on their last field trip for the 2014 through 2015 school year to the Detroit Science Center. Ms. Sonia Johnson, Mr. Robinson, and Mr. Solomon have planned many enriched field opportunities for our STEM Club and Nesby students. Thank you for all you have done. In closing, I would like to thank Mr. Bolger for his endless contributions to Southfield Regional Academic Campus and the countless hours he has spent to create opportunities for all Southfield Public Schools. Have a great evening, enjoy your summer, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller, so much for standing here.
I just wanted to make sure I mentioned to our board representatives to, and I say this all the time, but keep in touch with us. We'd be more than happy to do letters of reference and other things like that, so use us as a resource in the future, and thank you.
And also keep us informed on the challenges that you may have so that we can use those to become better as a district. So if you have struggles, we need to know about it. And we will do everything possibly to get you the assistance that you may need outside of the university, but as well as within the university. So remember that. I will now turn this portion of the meeting over to our superintendent and the cabinet.
Thank you. And I'd like to first say good evening, families and our Southfield community.
This is the time where we celebrate accomplishments. At the K-5, the K-8, and middle school level, we are promoting our students from one grade to the next. However, on Sunday, June 14th, we will honor our seniors graduating from high school and moving on to exciting new opportunities that await them. Well, I'd like to introduce to you a young man that I'm so extremely proud of. Donovan, would you please come to the podium? Donovan Southfield is a 2012 graduate of Southfield High School. Currently, he is a mechanical engineering student at the University of Michigan. He got there without costing his parents a dime. He is a Gates Millennium Scholar. I'm not finished.
He is one of four that this district can be proud of. No other district in Michigan or this county taught that. 4 Gates Millennium Scholars.
But we're not finished. A Buick Achievers National Scholar, a KFC Colonel Scholar, and a University of Michigan Lead Scholar, honors netting him more than $1 million for school. I'm not finished. Donovan, just believe you can never have too much money for college. You can never study too hard. He wants other students to work as hard as he does, dream as much as he does. So besides studying engineering, law, and looking for alternative energy sources, he has written a book to encourage young people to go to college and tell how to get the money. I'm so proud of you, Donovan. Please share with us.
I don't know what else to say. That was everything I had. But, yeah, it's an honor to be here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Donovan Colwood. I graduated in 2011. I'm a little bit older than that, 2012, but I wish. I go to the University of Michigan, and I'm a student. I want to take a quick poll for the parents. Who wants their children to go to college debt-free? Raise your hand, please. That's everybody, right? So, I wrote a book, and I know that it's very difficult to tell your children or to get them to listen to you about what's best for them, right? So, with that, my book isn't about necessarily a step-by-step guide to, how to apply for a scholarship, because every scholarship is different. And I can tell you, like, I spent many a night looking at different applications, like, why is this different from this when they, the same amount of money? But it's a book about motivating students to apply in the first place. And it's especially, it's personal to me. I have a lot of personal stories about me and my friends who all come from Southfield High School, even some of the Bernie Middle School. And I share my own poetry from high school. I share testimonials from other Gates Millennium Scholars from my year. It's just a book. It's an everything book, and it's meant to really encourage students to believe in themselves, because there's not a lot of people, in this world that are out there looking truly for the student, other than the teachers and staff and the parents. But with this book, I really want students to know that we are all looking out for you, especially in the Southfield community, because I know that there's plenty of parents that are dedicated, that go to every tutoring session with their student, every night, just always there for their child. And it's kind of rare for someone to earn over $1 million in scholarships and still counting. But the idea is that as long as students learn to not fear their own success and not fear, college itself, because it's, a lot of us are either first-generation students or we come from homes that are lower socioeconomic status, just like me, and it's really hard for, just to believe in yourself, and I had a lot of problems with that. So I'll tell a short story. I don't know how much time I have, but I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was playing the PlayStation 1, and it was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, and I saw my favorite car to this day. It was a blue, new Corvette. So I told my mom, you gotta give me that car. You gotta give me that car because I love it. And we made this deal because I was already brainwashed to believe that I wanted to go to the University of Michigan for engineering, mechanical engineering at that. And we made this deal that if I received a full ride to the University of Michigan, that she would buy me that new blue Corvette. She'd be waiting for me. I'm still waiting, but... So, for the students, suck your parents into getting you a new car. And pinky promise, because even though dreams do come true, your dream car is kind of expensive, I'm sure. And let me check my phone. I have points. But I was featured on the Detroit Free Press recently on the front page, and I was also on Fox 2 News just to spread awareness about my book. The book is $13. I have 4 books with me in the room right now, but I have too many to count in the trunk of my car outside. Life happens, but it's only $13, and I don't have change, so if you have but yeah, that's all I got. So thank you, Southfield Public Schools. I wasn't talking to do it. It's The Scholar's Key, How You Can Unlock Your Dreams as a Teen. And you can find this book if you don't want to buy it today, but tomorrow or tonight. You can find it on Amazon.com. You just search the name, it'll come right up. This is the book. If you can see, you have good 20/20 vision. And you can also find it on Barnes & Noble's bookstore. There's also 3 books in BookBeat on Greenfield. Between 10 and 11 miles. There's 3 books there. You can buy that there. I'm not sure how much it costs there, but it's $13 here. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And he encourages us. He encourages more of his peers and our future students like you, Donovan. Thank you again. Well, this also is the time of the year when our students are getting very excited about summer vacation, and our staff starts to dream about that perfect summer getaway, just to relax. But this is also a time of the year when we take time to reflect on how we can do our work better. I'd like to share with our community this evening that we're about to implement an adjustment for our start and dismissal time for the 2015-16 school year. When you entered the auditorium, you should have received a handout that listed the new start and dismissal times. And they were created so that we could improve the transportation service. And I just want to share a few things about part of the challenges we've had this year. We have been operating on a 3-tier transportation model where we only had 20 minutes between the drop-off and start time for our high school to middle school, and then another 20 minutes for the drop-off start time of our middle or K-8 schools and our elementary. For the fall, we are going to have move from 3 to 2 tiers, where our high schools will start at 8 o'clock, and our 4 elementary schools or K-5 schools will start at 8 o'clock and will end at 3:15. All of our K-8 schools and middle school will begin at 8:45 and end at 4 o'clock. And we will be ensuring that every parent receives a letter of notification in writing of the changes, new routes, and the cards will be sent to all of our parents. Durham is planning an open house this summer for our parents to come and learn more about the services that are being provided for our children and to be able to provide and answer any additional questions for our parents. So we're excited about the opportunity to provide, instead of 20 minutes, 45 minutes between our tiers, so that our children will have more time and our buses will have more time to get our children to school on time. And we've all been very concerned about that. And I will only also add that the construction and roads that are the changes that are happening as it relates to that has only added, and so the extra time is critically needed. The next thing is that as I reflect on this year, I'm just honored to be a part of a tremendous legacy of learning and leadership. The story of Southfield Public Schools still is a story of resilience, courageous decision-making, and fulfilling the promise to our students and parents to provide a fiscally sound and quality educational learning environment. And Board, that concludes my report.
Good evening. Good evening, Board. Good evening, community. My report is contained in the consent agenda tonight, but if you don't mind, I'd just like to take a few minutes to stress how important the Imagine 2020 plan is to the fiscal viability of Southfield Public Schools for future years. When I came to the district in 2006, we were just heading into the recession. And when we looked at a 5-year projection, we were looking at being over $130 million in deficit. And at that time, instead of putting our heads in the sand and kicking it down the road to someone else, we made the hard decisions. Many of our neighbors didn't, and you can see what is done to their districts at this time. But we did. We made the tough decisions, and we put ourselves on a fiscally sound path. The problem is that with declining enrollment, that doesn't sustain you forever. And we're at that point again where we have to make some more tough decisions. As our student enrollment declines, our revenues decline with it. The only thing that we can do is take action and make the cuts that'll keep us in line and keep us out of deficit. The deep cuts that we made in the past, as they were needed, they were crucial so that we could stay out of deficit and build a fund balance so that we could use that for capital repairs to our facilities, our grounds, and we were also able to purchase new textbooks and to upgrade our technology so that we can teach the classrooms of the 21st century. We're at that point again where small changes won't be enough to keep us out of deficit. Plan A of the Imagine 2020 plan would save us over $8.3 million a year. And to get to that point where we put together the Plan A, it took many, many months. We started out with what would actually be a big cut. At this point, what is left to us? We know that combining the high schools has been on the horizon for years. So we took that as step one. We dropped those numbers into the budget, and it wasn't enough. We didn't want to do this piecemeal. We're trying to do a one-time plan that will sustain us into the future, at least through 2020 and hopefully after that. So we went back to the books. We looked again. We were looking at facility usage, the enrollment, everything, all the pieces of information that we had, the usage of the buildings. And so we added Bryce Lutterly. That's another building that we would close and move the students. Again, that wasn't enough to take us out into the future. It was going to be a short fix. So at that time, we added Adler Elementary. With those three pieces together, we were able to come up with the 8.3 per year savings that will keep us out of a deficit budget over the next 5 years, possibly farther than that. So without the approval of Plan A, what's going to happen is we're going to eat up most of our fund balance in 15-16. And because of the best practices regulations, we'll have to post a 16-17 budget on the website with in excess of $5 million deficit. One of the dangers is doing that is that there's the early warning legislation that's coming about again. The early warning legislation is going to give the state treasurer more power in school oversight. He will have the ability to recommend a financial manager come in and take over the district finances. They will be able to do that even if they think you're going into deficit. So in the past, you had to be in deficit, file a deficit elimination plan. Now, if that budget 2 years out looks like you're going into deficit and you're not taking care of your finances, they can come in and take over. The package of bills for early warning has already passed the House and is now headed to the Senate, so it's very real and it has legs. I just want to say that I'm very proud to work for Southfield Public Schools. I'm very proud of the current board, the past board, and administration, and the fact that we've never shied away from making the hard decisions. Instead, we've made those decisions and done what's right for our children. We don't just talk the talk, we've walked the walk. Imagine 2020 is an extremely well-thought-out and vetted plan. And it incorporates not only fiscal sustainability, but it also includes a comprehensive plan for a better future for our students. And I wholeheartedly approve the plan, support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trent.
Good evening to the board and to the community. My personnel report as well is contained within the consent agenda. However, I'm happy to announce that we will honor and celebrate 14 of our own retirees tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So we're looking forward to that.
Good evening, board. I have 2 items on the agenda this evening from the office that I serve in. The first will be Sandra LaPerriere, who is the principal of Stephenson Elementary, and she's going to give the board the focus school update for Stephenson Elementary for this particular spring.
And Mr. Lopez, can you explain to some of the members in the audience what a focus school means to this district?
Certainly. A focus school is, there's a legislation passed that if there is a gap, a 30% or more gap between your highest performing students in your building and the lowest performing students in your building, you are then a focus school. And so Stephenson actually met that criteria with respect to mathematics and therefore became a focus school according to the State of Michigan Department of regulations.
Thank you.
Good evening, school board
Good evening.
and cabinet. I am Sandy LaPerriere, principal of Stephenson Elementary. Thank you for allowing me to present this report. As Mr. Lopez just indicated, part of the focus school designation, I have to give a progress report to update the Board of Education and the parents and community stakeholders. We are working very hard to close that achievement gap between our highest achieving and lowest achieving students. So this reporting period is from March through May. These reports are a result of many, many dialogues and conversations with cabinet, Division of Instruction staff, the board. They've given lots of time to Stephenson. Our goal, of course, is to continue on the improvement of our bottom 30% students. But of course, we want to make sure that we are providing quality instruction and targeting achievement of all our students. We want to make sure that all students are receiving high quality instruction. And so we continue to provide those research-based interventions. Bottom line is we're continuing to provide those best practice instructional strategies that are going to help all of our students in all subjects. And with the implementation of the new Common Core state standards, writing is throughout the curriculum, and that's part of our focus as well. So what we have really worked on this year is really focusing on data teams within our grade level teams. We've done a lot of meetings together, looking over our classroom data and creating intervention lesson plans to really target small group interventions with those bottom 30% students. So minimum 3 times per week, they've been delivering the small group lessons in English, language arts, and math. They've been collecting pre-test and post-test data, and the math test has been instrumental in helping us target what weak areas our students needed to get that extra instruction. Sometimes those groups are very fluid. They could be exited out once they are showing higher achievement based on that classroom data. So this is an example that I wanted to show the school board of the data sheet we created that the teachers may use to show pre-test and post-test data and demonstrating mastery of specific items that are about 30% students, and sometimes it turned out to be things that the whole class needed a little brush up on. So they were collecting that data and maintaining mastery of tasks, and then continuing to work with those students who just needed a little extra instruction. And what we found by doing that and really targeting specific skills, we found high achievement with all of our students. Mr. Lopez just thought this was great. We figured out that the desktops are just as good as whiteboards, and sometimes it's just quicker and easier to just do your math problem right there. And the kids think it's so awesome to be able to write on their desk. So I just wanted to show that picture. So to identify who those students were, we used triangulation of data. We used our mean scale scores for our grades 4 and 5. We used our math scores, which is our NWEA online computer testing that we do 3 times a year with K-5. And the developmental reading assessment, which is the reading test that we give to grades K-5. As you know, we did just finish our first M-STEP, which is the state standard assessment that took the place of MEET. And we do not have those results. So at this time, I can't provide data on that in terms of how we did on our state assessment. And the math window for spring testing just closes tomorrow, so we're still working on summarizing our spring testing as well for the math. Throughout the year, the other interventions we've done, we have a full-time Title I teacher and a half-time literacy coach, and they've been providing small group interventions on top of the in-class interventions with the classroom teachers. And we also did after-school tutoring that the Title I provided funding, our Title I grant provided funding for. Another pic of our babies. So we continued to work on some patterns of weakness in math that our data showed, and it was a lot of the higher order thinking, abstract type thinking, and we're continuing to work on that, as well as a lot of classroom discourse and conversation to make sure we're really getting to that depth of understanding. So again, we don't have the spring math testing summary yet because the window still closes for the testing tomorrow, but I did want to show you that our first and second grade exceeded their growth projections in the last round of testing for mathematics. So this is just one sample of something that we're seeing. And several of our fifth graders exceeded their growth projections by almost double in their March math testing. So we are seeing some substantial growth among all of our students, not just our bottom 30%, which is really the true point and objective with that high-quality instruction and those intervention lessons. I wanted to just thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. I'll now open the floor for questions from the board.
Yes, I have a question. What is your timeline for removing Stevenson from this focus list? That's my first question.
Well, the state right now, because we're giving a new test with the M-STEP, I'm not sure that anyone is moving from that list, if I'm correct, Dr. Woods.
Absolutely. Everything is basically suspended at this moment because the M-STEP was implemented this spring, but we are not sure what the new test will be.
And so in terms of the identification of focus schools, priority schools, reward schools, there's just a state status at this moment. For the state. Something will come forward, but as you can remember, even in the past, sometimes there's decisions at the state level that we don't get until after school is out and proceeding into the upcoming school year. That really is the status of that.
My second question is, going forward, what plans will be implemented for school improvement for year 2015, 16, and beyond? That's needed.
That's a great question. We've been finalizing our school improvement plan and our professional development calendar for next year. And one of the new things that we have to do in the diagnostics is we have to look at our activities and strategies that we've been implementing this year and do an evaluation. It's called School Evaluation Tool. So some of the questions that you have to answer about that is look at one of the strategies or activities that you've been implementing and how is it working. So we chose the strategy that I just laid out for you, the small group intervention lessons, and really targeting those skills that the students needed to work more on. And our data so far is showing that it's really working, and I would be remiss not to continue that with our staff next year. We're also going to continue with the same professional development that we started this year with our discourse in mathematics, and it's called Math Talk Moves, and where the students are doing a lot of talking and conversation to really make sure that you're getting that depth of understanding in mathematics. So we're doing a lot of professional development with the teachers in that regard as well.
Continuously until you...
That's my understanding.
Yeah, that's required by the
Yes.
state. See, this is my choice school. My kids attended there, so I want them to be back to the top where they were.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you. I just want you to remind me and anyone else what the RIT stands for, and also that I requested from the board president that we could have a copy of this for us to look over in our leisure. The math report, the NWEA test, the teachers love it because they provide some really good data, some very in-depth reports. And RIT bands, the RIT bands, break down each student, where they are, what subjects they are within the subject, what are some skills that they need to work on, and if they're at level, if they're progressing, if they need more reinforcement in that specific skill. So one thing might be understanding fractions, but it breaks it down even deeper than that. Mixed fractions, common denominator addition. So it gives you real specifics, and you can form your group interventions with that data. So the teachers really like the information that the reports give you.
Any other questions from any board members? If not, Mr. Perry, thank you so much
Thank
for the
you.
report.
And my second item is simply, in the spirit of the season, celebrating the accomplishments of our graduates of the class of 2015 and launching our Donovan Colowitz into the next phase of their lives. Just as a points of data for the board this evening that you will learn more of on Sunday at commencement ceremonies. But for Southfield High School, there are more than $12 million in scholarships awarded to the students in the graduating class of 2015. For Southfield Lathrop High School, 90% of the graduating class will plan to attend college and university, business or trade school. 61 students are going out of state to more than 20 states in the country. And so I think that we are launching our students not simply in the state of Michigan, but around the nation. And at UHSA, this statistic is staggering. All 100% of the students actually are going to attend four-year colleges, and 24 of the 84 graduates will be attending the University of Michigan. So number one thing.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. And I shared earlier in my report that I am a part of a tremendous legacy of learning and leading. And as I looked out into the audience, I saw a few individuals who I cannot continue without acknowledging. I'd like for Mr. Cecil Rice, a former superintendent of Southfield Public Schools, to raise your hand or at least to share that he is in the audience, and we thank you for I'd also like to thank Ms. Paramore, Linda Paramore, who used to serve as the Associate Superintendent for Instruction here in Southfield Public Schools. I'd also like to recognize our council member, Dr. Ken Cyber, who is also in the audience. And former and administrator here for Southfield Public Schools. Additionally, I'd like to acknowledge a former board member, Ms. Margaret Hall, who is also in the audience, and we thank you for being here this evening. And I hope I have not missed any other superintendent. I will just I'm sorry, Councilman Mannenbaum is here also, and we have, oh yes, thank you, we appreciate your presence here. I'd also like to acknowledge just the fact that when I talk about a legacy of learning and leading, I talked with Dr. Wanda Cook Robinson last night about 6 o'clock after I learned, and she shared that she is now the new superintendent of Oakland Schools, and that's a tremendous accomplishment, and we're very proud of her. And lastly, again, Dr. Chow is in the audience, just representing and supporting. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Now we'll have the Head Start report from our Vice President, Ms. Yolanda Charles.
Thank you. The Director's report is as follows. Ms. Hill is in the audience, and I just feel like making her way. The Director's report is as follows. Enrollment currently at Bussey Center for Early Childhood Education is 190 students in Head Start, 70 students in the Great Start Readiness Program, 31 dropped, 83 still on the wait list. The Child Adult Care Food Program, breakfast served, 2,237 lunch, 2,237 breakfast, 2,768 lunch, and 2,362 snacks. The average daily attendance is 73.57, and as we all know in the community, it's 85% that we really would like. So bring your kids to school. Change of scope. The application has been submitted to request an enrollment reduction. This will allow the program to offer full days as an option for the 3-year-old children. There have been new partnerships formed, Sweet Dreams, and the Dental Mobile Choice. The Office of Head Start has several funding opportunities available for programs to apply for, and Ms. Hill has more information on that. And the Great Start Readiness Program has $1 million for pilot programs in school districts to provide for parents to have parent university type classes. The children would be ages 0 to 3, and they would learn about literacy practices, the parents would. As it relates to the fiscal portion, on the slide, if I recall correctly, on the left you'll see the Head Start summary operating budget, which is for the fiscal year 14-15 through September 30, 2014. I'm sure that's not correct. Nonetheless, not my lane. Grant award is $1.299 million, or 79% of the grant. Training and technical assistance is $21,000 at 1%, and the grant total is $1.6 million. Also highlighted there is the Head Start funding resources, broken down into a pie chart, and then the federal budget allocations. So you see salaries in blue, purchases in purple, and fringe benefits in the burgundy color, and I just wanted to highlight those. Also in the federal grant, there is 89.3% of the total 89.3% remaining. The percent spent 10.7%. And of course, Ms. Stankovich and Ms. Trimp will vet those numbers. The last slide talks about in-kind, and our in-kind match as a district, as well as our local match.
these are items requiring action by the board. At this moment, I ask for a motion to open the consent agenda. Point of order. I'd like a motion to open the consent agenda. So move in order to my rules of order to not approve this list. I'd ask for a motion to open and approve the consent agenda.
We open and approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and supported to open the consent agenda. I'll ask for the question. If anyone has any discussion or any concerns regarding the consent agenda.
I just wanted to highlight the 102 years of service from those folks who have submitted retirement documentation, and just not let that be glazed over. 102 years of educational acumen.
And do we have any of the individuals that will be on tomorrow sitting in the audience at this time? If so, would you please stand? Okay. We will, as stated, have a farewell gathering tomorrow at JWE from 4 to 6 p.m. All are welcome to attend. At this point, I'll ask the Secretary to call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Before we move any further, I'd like to state as board president, board members remember, if you abstain from voting for no good reason, it is surely not only your responsibility. To the remaining board members, we have the right to expect every board member to participate in the decision-making process, but also to the board members, but also remember the board members' obligation to our community. That's you, sitting in the audience and on television watching this, or watching via streaming video, as reflected in the oath of office he or she took upon becoming public officers. Because I understand this is going to be a contentious situation, will move past Report 53-100 for the moment and move directly to ask for a motion to open Report 53-101. It's been properly moved and second. Call for the question. Any discussion?
I have one comment, which is commend Director Janice Hill. And often I mention to my board members that I wish we could model some of the practices of Head Start in K-12. Because if you think we're robust as a Board of Education, we should try the Department of Human Services and all of the commands that they give us in terms of personnel and how we can apply the dress code and what have you. So I just want to shout out Head Start and thank you for what they do.
Thank you. Go ahead, Trustee Smith.
I would also like to commend Janice Hill as well as Dr. Wood for giving special attention in the upcoming school year to early childhood education. It is certainly very important for our young learners to start early, and so I am 100% behind that. Congratulations on that.
Any other comments from any other board member? If not, I'll have the Secretary call for the vote. Yes. Thank you. I call for a motion to open Report 53-102.
We open Report 53-102, recommendation to approve extension of contract for special ed teaching scholars.
It's been properly moved and second. Call for the question. If there is no discussion, no question, Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Joyce. Yes. Mr. Lewis. Yes. Mr.
It's been properly moved and supported. I call for the question. Any member have any discussion? No discussion? Madam, go ahead, Vice President.
I think it is important to mention that school messenger would replace parent link. And as mentioned in previous study sessions, school messenger, just like parent link, is only as useful as the information you provide. So, God forbid, tragedy, but if we don't have your current updated email, phone number, address, all those things, don't expect us to be able to reach you in time of need. So, please, make sure your files are current.
Thank you. Trustee Charles. Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you once again. I call for a motion to open report number 53104. It's been properly moved and supported. I call for the question. Any board member have any comments? If not, yes, go ahead, Trustee Smith.
Just a point of clarity for the community that this is, my apologies. Just a point of clarity for the community that this item is a reflection of the prior PowerPoint slide that was provided with the 2 tiers and the change of the start and end time.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
I know my name very well. I guess I'm a little confused, and I'm glad that you asked the question. Is it two tiers or 3 tiers?
We're moving from a 3-tier to a 2-tier. We're extending the amount of time between the tiers so that our children will be able to have more accurate pickup and start times because there's less.
Thank you. It does say background. Thank you. I look at it.
Yes. Thank you. I call for a motion to open report number 53105. Trustee Smith.
I move that we open report number 53105, professional services, legal and labor affairs.
It's been properly moved and second. I call for a question. There's no further discussion. Madam Secretary, call for the vote. Yes. Thank you. And Ms. Marlene Davis, I believe, just walked into the audience. She's a former superintendent as well. Can you raise your hand? Now the moment that most of us have all been waiting for, and I will get to this right now. As elected officials of the Southfield Public School District, we'd like to thank you for entrusting us to advocate for you and your children. We fully understand the impact of our decisions and how they directly affect families, the community at large, and the academic future of our students. With this in mind, we as a board of 7 find a little joy in what we are compelled to do in an effort to reach the ambitious goals outlined in the strategic plan, while ensuring the financial viability and survivability of our district. It is tough because there's so much more we would like to do, but without the financial stability, the future will be bleak. We We have pledged to perform our elected duties with our vision of a shared partnership with other essential members of our team, our district administration, faculty and staff, and you, our community members. The implementation of Imagine 2020 in some form is a vision for the future. And again, it's a collaborative effort from the Citizens Advisory Committee, faculty and staff, administrators, and yes, you, our parents and students. It is this partnership, the Southfield way, the way we've done things in the past few years under the directions of former superintendents and boards, that has made Southfield Public Schools one of the premier districts in Michigan. I ask that we all continue to work together for one common vision that enables us to continue preparing every student for a rich and productive life. I also would ask that you stand up and speak up for public education at the state level. That's where we need your help. And with that, I call for a motion to open report 53-100 as a recommendation to approve Southfield Public Schools Imagine 2020 Plan A.
I move to open report number 53-100, recommendation to approve Southfield Public Schools Imagine 2020 Plan A.
It's been properly moved and supported. I call for the question, and at this point, I'm going to directly ask each board member to speak, starting with Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me the floor. I first would like to say that I don't think that the board has spent enough time debating about this issue. We talk about school closing, implementing a K-12 program in this facility that we're in now. We should have spent the whole summer talking about it. I want the community to know that I'm going to stand up to you. You couldn't know that I'm going to be by your side, thick and thin, and this board can have my answer now. No.
Mr. Poole.
Well, I too listen to Dr. Chow from the 50,000-foot level, and I understand the numbers. I understand the significance of looking at it from a 50,000-foot level. And I understand the numbers, Dr. Chow, but I live here on the ground, and I pass these schools on a daily basis. And he also mentioned that it would look and feel differently on the ground, and the devil would be in the details. And it's some devils running around here that I don't like. Now, if you go back to the advisory task force recommendation on the website, it states, the following is a summary of task force recommendations. And it's there now, if you go there. It talks about finance, it talks about program initiatives. But what concerned me most was the building configuration. It clearly states, do not close any current facilities as cost savings is minimal and may result in decreased enrollment due to eroding state school aid. So, down here on the ground, I've been passing, Adler for the last 22 years, sometimes 3 or 4 times. And I know this type of work that the teachers, parents, and administrators put in at that school. Now that one you can't pull from the Lord. That school, you will see, I have seen Dr. King's vision fulfilled on a daily basis right there at that school. I also Rabbi, Morris Adler, who gave up his life serving others. That's why that school became Morris Adler. So you got to know your history in order to know where you're going. So I too, you got to know from me on that one too.
Is it on? Yes. Well, I'd just like to say that I know for a fact that the citizens of this city, Southfield and Lakewood, voted me in to be a responsible board member and to make sane decisions. And I shared that with this board. I've been in Adler for 27 years, okay? 6 children went through Adler, 5 kids and 1 grandchild. 5 of them graduated from Southfield Public Schools, 4 of them with honors, 2 of them are engineers. So I know how important and how awesome the teachers are at Adler. I know every single one of them. It's not one of them that I can say that's not a good teacher. I see what's happening at that school. I see how enthusiastic the parents are, those who are there, and those who want to bring their children there. Okay? That school is a very special school. As far as I'm concerned, that's a school that has more value than any other school in the city of Southfield. Once I made it to this board and noticed that everyone here on this board is driven by that, and I am one of them, I cannot see at all the possibility of voting yes on proposal 100.
We aren't taking the vote yet. This is the discussion period. I appreciate the comments, but I also appreciate the way we are conducting ourselves here in Southfield. That's the way we do it. Thank you so much. All right, Trustee Smith.
Thank you. I heard loud and clear Trustee Lewis's concerns regarding the timeline. And allow me to just say first that I get the concerns and I get the importance of this decision. My daughter's in the 1st grade, so I want to make sure this district is still around so that she can go to high school at one of the great high schools and become one of those scholars as we saw being presented today. However, in understanding that, this is a point of clarity if Deborah Trump could just share in terms of the importance of submitting a budget that shows that we are being responsible. That's the first due diligence that I have. It does not feel good to me to have to make a decision that would ultimately impact our district in a negative way. So if you could just, for a point of clarity, share the details on why it is important that we have this timeline and make this vote. Hello? Okay. State law states that we have to have a balanced budget, and we have to present that to the state by June 30th. So we can balance this year's budget, but what happens is that because we have a regulation from the state from the best practices, and also the early warning that's coming out is echoing that, where we have to post 2 years of budget out on the website. So in order to post that second year with a balanced budget, we have to make the cuts that are in Plan A of Imagine 2020. Without that, I will have to, by law, post a deficit budget on the website, and I don't know where we'll go from there because that tells the state that we're going into bankruptcy. Thank you. And the second point of my discussion is, again, to you, Deborah Trump. Data was provided to us in one of our many study sessions regarding the enrollment and the declining of enrollment at Adler. Could the goal of cost savings be accomplished reasonably by downsizing the number of classes as opposed to closing the school? Downsizing classes doesn't give you all of the savings because the class sizes are contractual. So we have so many students in a classroom with a teacher, so the price or the cost for the district is the same. In closing a district, the savings are in administrative costs, custodial costs, security costs, and building utilization. And then you also have the other side of the coin where combining classrooms where you may not have enough students, you're getting the cost savings by putting them in and filling up the classroom so that you do have the cost of a teacher spread over the entire classroom instead of maybe 15, 16 students. Thank you. Thank you for that, sir. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Robinson.
Most of you know me and know that I have been an advocate for children for the last 20 years. My son started at Stevenson Elementary School from a private school. I had reservations about bringing them to a public school because I didn't think they were good enough. So my husband is an educator. He has a PhD in education. So he said, give the schools district a chance, public schools, and let's see what they have to offer. Since we are paying taxes in Southfield, then we might as well give them a chance. As I say, my students were in Stevenson Elementary School, and at that time, the school was a Selman School District, a full Selman school. Mr. Rice, I was the PTA president at that school. Parents were complaining about kids who weren't being taught. So we had a very strong PTA, and we went to Mr. Rice, and we told him something has to be done about the school. He realized that, and at that time, he sent Dr. Intrell to that school. She did not want to come, but she came anyway. Once she got there, she realized that the school was an absolute mess. Kids were not being taught, and everything was just in an uproar. She told us, as a PTA, give me 1 year to get this school on test. Give me 3 years to take it over the top. And I can guarantee you, she stuck to her promise. She took Stevenson from the bottom to the top in 3 years. She did the same thing at Grace Leatherman. She left Stevenson, and it was on the top. And here we are now, 12 years later, Stevenson is again a focus school. I have a problem with that, because our kids deserve a quality education. They deserve that. They should be able to pass a standardized test. They need that. Your tax dollars are affording these kids to go to school, and they do not need an inadequate education. Dr. Intrell left Stevenson and continued on to McIntyre. There again, she took that school over the top. Each school she has taught, that she has managed, has gone over the top, and also has a waiting list for students to get in. Parents realize that she believes in excellence. This is what I want for every school in Southfield School District. Excellence. We cannot settle for mediocrity. We cannot accept failure. So I understand changes are difficult for some people, but sometimes you have to make changes in order to reach your goals. That's my comment.
Thank you. Trustee Charles?
Thank you. I don't expect a clap, and I'm okay with that. I do want to mention a few things that are very important to me that have been on my heart throughout this process, which I'd like to start with. I am a product of Southfield Public Schools, pre-K through 12. That's what I ran on, that's what I am, no matter what. Kennedy, Thompson Middle, and Southfield High School. Many of my peers on various social media have really been chiming in over the last few days. And I have to be honest with those peers of mine. Many of you left our school. Many of you took your families and moved to Novi, and you moved to Birmingham, and you moved to wherever. You moved to Atlanta, people in the state of Michigan. And you kind of rested on the laurels of a fine institution of Southfield Public Schools. It's not that easy to just have a legacy. You need to have a future. Many alumni have parents who still live in Southfield, but they don't have children in the school district, unfortunately. Also, I have heard from many of them that they're surprised it took this long for certain things, because again, they do live in communities who have had to combine comprehensive schools. Many have coalesced around the merging of the Blue Jays and the Chargers, which I just thought was miraculous, to say the least. Another element of history for me is my mother was also a graduate of Southfield High School. She was a part of the first 5 to 7 African-American students at Southfield High School in the early 70s, and was also a part of naming the school's door, the turning point. So all that's history for me and exposure. However, if you have, my husband said it, and I told him I was going to quote him, he asked me not to, but I'm doing it anyway. If you have 5 summer homes that you can't afford, you keep them and bankrupt yourself? You don't. You sell them. You get rid of those properties and try to make your household solvent. Catholic schools historically have had K-12 curriculum. I mean, it's up and down Woodward. All we need to do is do a little Google search. Our schools, our summer school is a K-12 program, as I forgot. I was quick to forget that, but our summer school program in Southfield Public Schools is also K-12. I live near the bankrupt, near Northland. I live south of 9 Mile, east of Southfield Freeway. So I understand the concerns that I've heard over the weekend about not having a neighborhood school anywhere near my neck of the woods. My board members know I have championed my neck of the woods since I got on this board. The expectation that I have as moving forward, if I were to support this proposal, one, would be really to be surgical in terms of how we proceed with getting our test scores up. I'm also optimistic that if the high schools combine, that it would be a whole new school code, a school ID, which would mean that real estate websites like Zillow, and if any of you in the audience are real estate people or moguls, please hear my call. We can't continue to fight against a silent entity in the real estate business. If you're selling homes and you're telling people that the quality of education in Southfield Public Schools is lacking, no wonder things are happening the way they are. So I'm asking real estate agencies and brokers and what have you, have conversations with us. Look at some of the quality information about the programming at Southfield Public Schools. I've also heard about how we'll lose some students. I'm sure we will, but I hope that we will gain some students, and over a period of time that we will have more coming than leaving. I do believe that the International Baccalaureate program here at SL, because it's not a complete IB program here at Southfield Lathrop, the population in IB isn't enough here at Southfield Lathrop. I keep hearing about IB. Get in IB. Then we wouldn't be feeling like no one's in IB to sustain the 80,000 plus that we spend each year just to house it here. So I'm looking for students to take up the charge and enroll in the IB program. Define an enrollment. We want you to attend study sessions where we've really vetted a lot of these things. We don't get these kind of audiences at study sessions. We need you there for those environments. And I'm inviting you and asking from this day forward, please attend those. Many of you know I subbed in the district. 25,000 students we had at one time, 20 buildings we had at one time. I mean, the writing really is on the wall. And to quote a local rap artist, Dave Schloss, I just want you to be honest. I want you to be real at where we are, what we're looking at as far as where our future. And the final comment that I have is it would be very difficult to combine our comprehensives knowing the legacy that they have, but it would be even worse is if I'm sitting here at this table and I have to acknowledge an emergency manager in Southfield Public Schools, then I will feel that I have failed as a fiduciary leader in this community. And I'm not interested in EMs in Southfield, the city or the school district.
Me, Trustee Williams, you heard my comments at the very beginning. Many of you heard my comments in the boardroom at JWE. Everyone must take your mirror and look at it. We can't be self-serving and worry about one student. We, as a board, have to worry about all students here in Southfield Public Schools. I have two children who went through this district. I moved here from the military in Fort Bragg, North Carolina in 1987. The district looks totally different now than it did in 1987. The expectations and the standards are the same. Excellence. Excellence. So when you're sitting around that table and Johnny has a 1 point such and such and is not doing what whomever, Sue, Sally, Jane, not doing what they're supposed to do, I would say to those parents, get the intervention needed because the standard will not be lowered here in Southfield. My students went to Southfield High School and one at Southfield Laker. I understand the legacy. I understand the rich traditions. And as I said earlier, we now have to take on the tough challenge of making a decision that will move us forward. I would ask that on Thursday, the room not be empty at JWE when we talk about the financial situation the way it has been in the last 6 years that I've been a board member. That's where you can learn about the financial picture. It is not a joke. We're not pulling the wool over on you. That is not what we're here for. And we have no reason to, because your board, unlike others, receives no compensation. Our compensation comes on Sunday and the week when we see the promotions and things that our students are going and the achievements that our teachers and staff are achieving throughout the district and the challenges that they're taking on. So I would ask you once again, we must work supportively, collaboratively as one, with one shared vision and one common goal. I will now ask the Secretary to call for the vote for Proposal A as presented.
Mr. Joyce?
No.
Mr. Joyce? Mr. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Poole?
No.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Myself? Yes.
We have 4 yes and 3 no.
So with that, Plan A is approved to move forward. The next items on the agenda is informational items, and these items are not required board action. Report 53106 is the purchasing report. Bill summary 7B is number 791, also doesn't require any action.
Regardless of how the vote came down, I was going to ask the public and ourselves we're probably going to need to stop glazing over the bill payment portion. I understand it's an information item, but we spend $6.9 million in just the last 30 days to pay the bills, to keep things solvent. And so that's not chump change, and it's continuously affecting our funding.
Thank you. And with that, we will now move into public participation. The board has adopted an amended policy on public participation. Only those persons with concerns related to school matters may participate during the public participation portion of a meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will listen to comments but may not respond during the meeting. Comments may refer to an administrator or the superintendent for follow-up. As a matter of fairness, speaking with complaints against individuals are asked not to mention persons by name. Complaints concerning employees should be brought to the attention of school principals or other administrators before coming to the board. Your cooperation is appreciated. I also remind the audience to be seated after making their comments. Also, as we indicated, the information on Image Imagine 2020, the questions and answers, frequently asked questions and answers, is on the homepage. And a separate website called Imagine 2020 under the Parents and Students link, should the board approve Plan A, which was approved. I will first call Ms. Marlene Davis.
Hello, board,
Hello.
staff, administration. Half your group has left, but Dr. Wood asked me if I would come this evening and share a few thoughts. I am Dr. Marlene Davis, the previous superintendent of Southfield Public Schools, Yolanda. I'm a resident of Southfield and have been for 24 years. I wanted to come and applaud you. I wanted to applaud your courage to do what needs to be done. And I know you're taking this view from a financial standpoint. I know you're up against it relative to your budget, but I want you to know that you can make lemonade out of lemons. This plan that Dr. Wood has shared with me is really an extremely well thought out plan. It's a systems approach to public education. It's taking a look at what your outcomes are, which is providing the very best education you can for all the students in Southfield, and using your resources to support it. So even though you think that things might not work, you have great opportunities in bringing your high schools together. Some of you were around in the late 90s when we created the future in the high schools in Southfield. We reconfigured back then. That's when we developed the academies. That's when we took a look at preparing kids for the future. It was pretty bold back then. The long-term plan was eventually to get where we are now, to have 2 high schools. At that point, we were talking about 1 high school on 2 campuses. As it's turned out, because of your declining enrollment, you're now talking about 1 high school on 1 campus. Don't think that it's a bad thing. I know it's hard. I know if it was my high school that was having to let go of, I feel bad. So I certainly understand Charger pride and Blue Jay pride. I certainly do. But this school district isn't about Charger pride and Blue Jay pride. It's really about Southfield pride. And it's about the students that I always like to call the Southfield success stories. And they're everywhere. Yolanda is one. There are people in the audience that are one. And I run into people all the time that are Blue Jays and Chargers. And I'm proud of the fact that I got to spend almost 10 years of my time here leading Southfield School. It was a wonderful school district then, and it is a wonderful school district now. It's just going to look a little different, but it's going to be positive and forward-looking, and some of the ideas you have, don't worry about losing students. People are going to want to come to Southfield Public School. Can you imagine if you're a middle school student and you get to have your experience here with the kind of facilities? Don't think that those charter schools can compete with you. They cannot. So, in talking with Dr. Wood, she said that there's going to be an aggressive marketing plan, and I support it. So, congratulations to you, even though those of you that voted no, I know you're going to support the board's decision, and I applaud you for doing that.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I have a former board member, also in the audience, and didn't recognize earlier, Mr. Darrell Buchanan. Would you come to the mic?
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Wood, members of the cabinet, and members of the community. My questions and my comments are not directed to you at all, okay? Because, I've been where you are, served on this board for 10 years. In those 10 years, I've been exactly where they are, the decisions that we've had to make in order to survive in that time period. And the community didn't always agree with us. But in every instance, we made the decisions that helped us to survive. And survival is what this is all about. People have to understand that not only is public education under assault, communities that look like us are under assault as well. I was really saddened to see so many people get up and walk out, because you really need to understand what this is about. And part of it is about our own empowerment. We are the only majority African-American school district and community that is not under emergency management. That was my vow when I ran for the board. It would never happen. And believe me, the threats are still there. They would love to have Southfield's assets. Because as you look around the state, the assets of all the communities like ours are being sold off. The districts that look like us don't exist. Inkster is gone. Buena Vista is gone. Okay? And if we're not more concerned about how we handle our finances and make sure that we survive so that we will be able to have a school district in the future where we control our destiny, we have to be more bold, more brave, and make sure that we make decisions that help us to survive. Everybody here understands that? I mean, you can look around the entire state. What other school district, what other city like us doesn't have an emergency manager? There isn't one. There isn't one. I was privy to, there are those that are looking at our demise. We actually got an email that was shared with me from a former superintendent. A former superintendent, Southfield Public Schools, running us down, talking about shame on them. Not understanding the changes that have taken place. Don't talk to me about test scores. Talk to me about the teachers that are here and the job that they do day in and day out. The longer a child is here in Southfield Public Schools, the better they're going to do. We had an influx of students that are coming here at different levels of their educational career, and that does impact test scores. But if you look at the students who have been with us from the beginning, they track on a whole other level. I can say that because my son just graduated from Michigan State with honors, 1 through 12, right here in Southfield Public Schools. Okay. Bigger thing, I know that. A little more, go ahead. A little privilege. A little privilege, go ahead. A little privilege. My point is this. If we don't stand together in the face of all these issues that are upon us right now, we'll fall apart. I know the majority of us are former Detroiters, right? No. Yeah, but I'm not talking. One that came here looking for something different, we have it. We need to fight for it. We need to stand for it. And regardless of the naysayers and those that want to take us down, if we don't stand together, they win. And I don't want that. I want to be able to have my grandchildren come back through here at some point. Our children are not coming back because of other issues that are going on. The brain drain means that, our young people are leaving the state, so then we don't have children. We've known that this was coming for years. We've known this was coming for years. The birth rate has been low. We knew this was going to happen. It's on now.
All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Lisa Motley. Hello.
My question is not related to this. I respect the board's decision. I'm moving on for that. My question is, my son is into robotics, and I've been meaning to ask this question for a while now. My concern is that I'm a product of Southfield, so I registered from Lakeland, and I had to take my money outside of Southfield District to put him on a robotics team in Pontiac, Michigan, because Southfield only has a robotics team at Southfield High. So I'm not quite understanding why my son has to compete outside of Southfield District, and we're going to different competitions all over the state. And Southfield is not represented except at the high school level, but we're having competitions at Southfield High. But the middle school level is not represented. My son attends MacArthur. He's in the 4th grade. We're competing against other elementary school students, but guess what? Southfield Public School is not represented, but he's in a mixture of students. So I'm driving 30, 45 minutes away, taking my $200-some plus money that I'm willing to sacrifice to drive out 45 minutes away to interact with other students that are not part of Southfield. So that is my concern. What are we going to do about technology here in Southfield School to get us a robotic team that starts off at the bare minimum at middle school, let alone we need to be doing something at the elementary school level. So that's what we need to work with, especially since the young lady that my son, the team that he was currently on, she is willing, she told me this, she does not have a problem with going to a particular school and introducing it to the school, showing us how to get started, because that's not my math, I have a master's degree, but it's nowhere near engineering, that's not my expertise. She would show us school how to get started, so we can get started. And I don't mind being there to help out in a sense, because I was driving out there 2 or 3 days a week to do robotics, to do some other programming that they do. I don't have a problem with that, but I shouldn't have to drive out 20, 30 miles 3 times a week and Saturday, and I can bring my money right here in Southfield and start a program here. So that's what my concern is. Because I don't mind change. You know, I'm all for change. But we need to do something better than this. That's ridiculous for me to have to do that, and we don't have a program here in Southfield. Okay, and I've been in Southfield ever since I was 13, 14 years old, so I support Southfield and Southfield Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just quickly say that I, too, believe in robotics. I believe in STEM. I believe in what you're sharing. And what we will be doing is creating even more opportunities for our children, K through 12, to have those types of experiences. If you meet with me after, I'd like to share a little more detail for you, okay?
I appreciate it, because MacArthur needs a STEM program as well, not just Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Kevin Parker. I'll call it once again. Kevin Parker. Shannon Robinson. Nikki Donald.
I'm Sam Donald, and...
Give us your address, please.
I'm Sam Donald, and this is my wife, Nikki.
And you reside at?
We reside in Southfield.
Yes, but what's the address?
26642.
Thanks, Kevin Parker. Thank you very much.
All right. Here we go. My son's at Bussy. He's there for early intervention. He has a speech delay. We got a letter. Right. The letter said that he's going to be switched over to Kennedy Center in a merger of sorts, and that my son will be in school at 3 years old with severely handicapped or mentally challenged adults. What age?
18 to 26-year-old.
You spoke earlier of educating. What about the safety of our children? That's my comment, and I don't know how to go. This is my first meeting. I'm glad to be here, but I need a solid answer as to how can that happen. We speak of the legacy. I've heard a lot of talk about legacy in Southfield. I've only been here for 3 years, and I need to know that if my child at 3 years old in a merger can be housed with adults with severely challenged, mental challenges. How is that safe for my child? How is that safe for any of the children that are going to be merged as such? And how can we do that? As people, you can put us anywhere on the planet, Southfield, wherever. How can we do that with children? Budget, whatever. Children, merged with adults. That's my comment, and I got to have an answer.
We understand.
What I will share with you is that our special ed director should be here. I don't see her right now, but I'd
We
like...
call, not to be rude, we call, but they have an answer.
Okay. What I will share with you is is that we are in the process of creating a special education program at Kennedy. It will include very young children. But what I would like for you to do is to wait until after we have finished with the meeting, and I will find someone on staff that will help address your answer, okay?
Okay, and with 31 seconds left, I have to ask, knowing that plans are made well in advance, and letters and such that we receive, means that something is in play for adults to be in the school with children. Is that happening, yes or no?
They are children who are older. They are not adults, but they are children who are high school age, and they will be in a separate side, okay? And so what I'd like to do is at the end of the meeting, I can go into more detail with you. I have one of our staff members.
Okay, thank you.
You will give an answer.
But is it in place?
The program does not open until July 1st.
So July 1st, is it in place? Yes or no? Okay.
Just as a matter of clarity, after you make your comment, we welcome all your comments. Please have a seat after you make your comment. Thank you.
Ms. Janice Ford.
Good evening, Board, Cabinet members. I have been at all these meetings when we discussed the possibility of the high schools merging. And as I stated before, I do understand that districts have to do more with less. Funding has been cut left and right. But I do think that the manner in which these two schools the proposal to put those two high schools together was kind of done heavy-handedly. The kids who are being uprooted from where they go to school at, they should have been included in some meetings there at the school building to discuss the realities that the districts face. And I do believe in my heart that we are not going to see all of the same programs that the students had available at Lathrop at this new unified school. I just think that those kids are going to be left behind. They're being uprooted with no guarantees that what they have been enjoying will still be available to them. They are concerned and afraid. I'm a parent of one of those students, and I don't talk just because I have a student there, but I'm thinking about, as an educator, I think about all those students who are feeling concerned and unsure at this particular point. They have the most to lose. They are being uprooted, and they're going to be warehoused, for lack of a better term, warehoused in that one building. There's just no rhyme or reason for the way it has been handled. We have heard many times that the students will react as the adults react. I find that offensive because I'm not a parent that flies off the handle like that. I resent the implication that the way I behave is how my students are going to behave. I think that I have a right to voice my opinions, and if I am frustrated and angry and upset with the changes that is occurring, then they have a right to be that way as well. I'm not telling them to burn down those buildings or anything, but I don't think reminding us that we have a choice. I don't think telling them that every time we have a meeting is a way to reassure parents that this is being done with their children's best interest. And with that in mind, that, it's just the democratic process, people, is available to us all. And if we do not like what we are getting, we do not like what we are being faced with, then we do have a choice, and it's called the ballot box.
Ms. V. Settles.
Hi, good evening.
I'm really concerned about the merger for the high schools. I would like for, if you all could reconsider and let this be like the last high school class coming in 2018, finish out, and then come with your vision for 2020. And also, a lot of kids are really worried about going to high school at Southfield High because it is dangerous. And, yeah, it is dangerous. A lot of things go on here that's kept undercover. And a lot of our children are very afraid about this merger, and I am too.
Thank you.
I'd like to just share that when the two schools eventually come together, there's going to be more programming, more opportunity for all of our children. Southfield High and Southfield Lathrop are both safe schools, and we're going to ensure that they remain safe. Thank you.
Quintus Deal, D-I-E-L. Dial, thank you. Sorry for missing it, Mr. Dial.
No problem, as long as I get to talk. Okay, I have two children in Southfield schools. My daughter originally started in the K-8 program, and now both my children are in Adler. Adler is a jewel. When I came to Southfield, I was looking for a family school that was oriented to pull people in. And when I walked through Adler, you have that family feel. I've talked to people in other schools. My wife's family are at with Levy and McIntyre, and they didn't have that same feel that we have at Adler. I'm looking down here at your question and answers, and it says Adler's only at 50%. I'm in that school 4 days a week. That school is way more than 50%. Right now, I'm currently PTA president because the school has such a feel that even though my wife is working 2 jobs and I couldn't do it my daughter's first year, my son's first year, I was like, I'm going to do it. Every year, Adler has the family fun nights. Every year, Adler has cool dad cook. I've been doing it for 40 years. 40 years. I've been happy to do it for 3 of those my last 3 that I've been here. I would really like the board to reconsider. Adler's a small school. I understand there's resources that it does consume, but nowhere near is that. What is it? 50,000 square foot building going to make and or break any budget. And we're just talking about another school that's on an improvement plan. Here's a school that's working. We have only school with academic gains. I mean, the list of things that have done is way over the top. And I talked to Mr. Boyd, because I came to school, and he told me the high school emerges. Okay, I can see that. You got a $500,000 square foot building. It's using easily $120,000, $80,000 a month in utilities. Merging high schools are understood. If you only got a building half full, I cannot stop that. But when you got a building that's not 50%, 80%, 90%, and I will give y'all the 8%, because we do have some special classrooms, and we do have some of those other things that have been here. We need to reevaluate Adler. If nothing else, it's the only K-5 scholarship in the United States. The only best. And if I was to make this back to a K-8 where my daughter was an exceptional student, exceptional, 4 point, 5 point, whatever, if they're giving her grades, I mean, she's, and my son isn't. So we will have my daughter who will skate by, and we will lose my son. And if that's taken in, I'm going to have to pull both of them. Because I can't have one there and one not. But I missed my time. I want to break it.
Well, thank you very much. Vernell Harris.
I am Vernell Harris, but I'm going to give my time back to my PTA president.
Okay.
As you can tell, I'm going through pages of points. We'll go to the pre-speech this time and we'll keep my time. We are rushing to this decision. We just found out about Adler 6 days ago. And since then, I've had 1, 2, 3, almost 4 PTA meetings about it. Okay? We're making the decision, recommendations, preventing, involving, before we even involve our community of it happening. Me and my wife went and passed our flyers today, and they were like, what, Adler? So a lot of our family, a lot of our people in our community don't know. They do like Adler as a school. I'll say the task force on the website did not even recommend any school closing. So when it popped up, it was like, it caught everybody by surprise. And my concerns in developing this K-12, the bus drivers for the K-8 complain regularly about the small children being on the bus. How are they going to move the small children when they have this whole K-8? A lot of times it's hard for the little kids and the big kids to, because, they're kids. They're doing their own thing. They don't look for the kid who's way down everybody's legs. And once again, Adler School is a jewel for itself and for its neighborhood. And it's, like I said, one of those schools that you really love to find as a parent. And the lead scores in Adler are higher than most Benjamin and McIntyre. So we're not failing school. We are there, and as you can tell from our red shirts, we have a strong family following. Let's see, have I made all the through those? And as a recommendation for funding, since Adler does have a few classrooms that are open, why don't we try to move some of those new coming preschool programs into Adler? We have So we really would love for us to use as a board to think about that. Just consider Adler again. Because like I said, once again, it's a community school that gives community value back to the community. Thank you.
And once again, thank you.
I also wish to thank you for your comments, and I will always say that I'm proud of all of our schools. But I do have to share something publicly that you said that I can't let be permeating in the audience. Stevenson is a focus school because there is a gap between the highest performing students and the lowest performing students. Stevenson is the highest achieving school for this past MEAP assessment, or the past MEAP assessment. And so I just want to make sure that the truth is correctly stated.
Sidney Coleman. Kevin Parker.
I'm here.
Okay,
I
Sidney.
have a comment card.
Thank you. I have 4 points I'm going to try to get in 3 minutes. BuzzFeed, I was on their parent committee, and they are federally funded and get 10% from Michigan GSRP. Why are they included in, they have different rules, different regulations. Why are they included in the Southfield public school process as far as getting rid of, I don't want to put it, putting them in MacArthur instead of leaving them at the building where they're at? I have when this change takes place, I'll have a senior and I'll have a second grader. So I have a kid at Lathrop and a kid at MacArthur. So that's a concern of mine. Why is BuzzFeed being included? I understand that we take care of their snow and things like that, but their rules and regulations are completely separate than Southfield Public School. The athletic program, my son plays basketball. This will affect him his senior year. He goes to Lathrop, he'll be displaced. We have 2 teams currently for our 3 schools. We're going to make University a school, we're not giving them a team. So out of 3 high schools, we're going to have 1 team. Yes, and we'll have a whole lot of scouts come and look at it because they're going to pick the very best of the very best of all 3 schools. So kids who may not have been Michael Jordan status or what have you, where were they? They wouldn't even be allowed on the team. That's a concern. My son might not be a superstar, but I'm pretty sure he had a shot at least a partial scholarship being here at Lathrop. My daughter will be going into 2nd grade at MacArthur, which will be here from you guys go as a K-12. There's no way to have a playground that you do not have to park asphalt for. We are short on lunch meats as it is. Just one scenario, if you have an elementary student on greenery at a playground, they need to come in to go to the restroom, the whole group is going to come in? How is that going to work? And we have teenagers driving and all of that. That's a concern of mine. I understand that other private schools are doing K-12, and kids have nothing to do but to sit around and figure out how to get past your key fob system. That's what they do all day. Am I as concerned about my 2nd grader? But I will be concerned when she's a 7th or 8th grader and she's in the same school with 11th and 12th grade boys. Thank you.
Some of your concerns were addressed in the pamphlet that was handed out, but we will, stay after the meeting. We'd like to have further discussion. One of our staff members will have further discussion with you. With that, Sarah Webb. Willie Pearson. Maria Mosley.
I'm Maria Mosley, and I have 2 students currently at the university. And I'm not a product of Southfield Public Schools, but I was brought here when I moved to Detroit and then started working for General Motors. I thought that Southfield Public Schools was a sustainable district, and that's why I came here. So now I'm concerned that when I came and brought my children to the U, I was told that it would be all-comprehensive high school at some point in time. Now that's changed. So my concern is, being at the U and being all academics, where do my children get to be creative? Now I know that they can go over to Southfield or Southfield Lathrop right now to participate in sports, which they do. But what about the things that they talked about robotics and creative art and music? How are they going to be able to participate at that all-comprehensive school? Will there be transportation provided? And then not only that, when you talk about the plan, you talk about the budget, that we look at the future financial plan and how it's going to outlay 2 or 3 years from now with about 25% of our community leaving to go to other schools. Did we look at that? Because the last 2 to 3 to 5 years, I believe, we've had a declining enrollment of about 30% of our community leaving to go elsewhere. The other question I have is, do we plan to release funds for those children or those families that want to go to other schools for school of choice? In addition to that, you talked about the Tier 2 proposal with the time change. How is that going to affect the university when it moves to Southfield, having a K-12, when you have some students starting at 8:45, some starting at 8:25? So those are my questions and concerns, and hopefully you can address that again in this packet that you handed out, because those answers were not on this sheet.
You have several questions. I hope that you can give us the list of questions that you have. Okay, and we will make sure that we're addressing all those questions. Thank you.
And Ms. Mosley, you and I work at General Motors, same building. You and I will have further conversation as well. And your questions have been submitted to the cabinet, and will be answered fully, completely. Mark Anthony Thompson. Leslie Williams. Mildred Barlow. Clifford. Okay, thanks.
My name is Mildred Barlow. I live at 689 Aberdeen Street. I am a mother who works night shifts. I had 3 weddings ahead. I just heard it's going to change my life. The time I get my son to school, 8:40 now, I barely can make that. That's going to be intermittent. My son go to Athens. Athens has been such a blessing to me. I'm originally Tennessean. I moved here in 2003. My sister's children went to Athens, and that's how I found about it. And, it's sad. It's so sad that you would close a school like this. This school has been, the teacher's been remarkable. I have a teacher who's been retired. That helps me today. I can go to her house, take my baby to her house, and she helps them out. My son had problems. Went to daycare, something bad happened to him. And we had trouble in the 1st and 2nd grade. I thought he had ASAP. My son is now in academic games. Honors. This school, the teachers are so wonderful. I can hug them. They've been there day and night. I can call them. And to close this school will be such a tremendous destruction for the community. Because they help a lot of children. I took our time. I went to Grand Rapids with the academic game. The children are the resilience. They learn a lot there and small. My oldest son is here at Lake. But when he was at Vernon, my youngest son got lost. I had to go take my son to school. They had to go to the doctor. And during the class period changing, it was just kids running everywhere. It's just like he got lost because he was with me. I said, oh no, you have to stay at the small school. This son, my youngest son. And K-5 is a school of choice for us to have a small school. Everybody don't do well in a bigger school. You need to at least be one small school. So I'm asking for the bottom of my heart, reconsider leaving Africa open. He's in the 4th grade, he'll be a 5th grader. But for future children coming in, these parents, we need smaller schools. Everybody don't do well in the big cities. So really, really give it a reconsideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cheryl Knowles. Terrell Calhoun.
Hello, Board. So my question is, I have 4 brothers and sisters that go to Taylor International Academy. My mom doesn't like that school, so she was considering bringing me all 4 of them to Southfield Public Schools. But with this plan, she was considering taking them to Allen. With this plan, that's why I just went yes on Allen will be closed. So as far as them going to the K-12 university school, what will be your plan? What will be your secondary plan on the test taking? Because I took the test to go to Cal Tech. By the test, English 30%, math 30%, science, 30%. I failed that test. Cass had a secondary plan called the pill packet. The pill packet made sure that I was a 4.0 student. NJHS. I was on Congress. I was on robotics. I went to all part public schools. I also was a liaison for Oak Park Prep. So, with that being said, what is y'all second protocol for the people that don't pass the test? Because everybody isn't a perfect test taker where people get intimidated from taking tests. I know I failed that test. Didn't know school. I tested for Renaissance, Cass, and King. Only high school that wanted me was King, and they was recommending me to read the new classes. I been 4.0 student. The test is not considered of my abilities. So, what is your plan for the secondary option of the test taking for university?
I will just quickly share that, as always, there are second opportunities for testing at University High. So in the fall, when the regular testing occurs, there are opportunities for students at different grade levels.
Jarrell, I just want to commend you because you have burned the midnight oil staying at meetings like this, the Lathrop Community Forum, a couple of times last week. You could be anywhere else doing anything else, and I understand the process is sometimes confusing and a little less than fulfilling, but I just want to say thank you for being the voice of your peers here at this process. And if you email, all of our emails are there. We want to hear from you on a continuous basis. That's all.
Mark, Brian. Deborah, Brian. Clifford Jones.
Good evening. I'm Cliff Jones, and I work with two other gentlemen at Bullbrick Planetarium. We have the keys. Okay? It happens to be attached to Attleboro Elementary. It's a wonderful place. You can go to any other planetarium around, and we're different. Okay? We used to, I really should have a little bit of time. I'll go over the history. In 1967, Bullbrick family, their foundation gave Southfield $50,000. Southfield matched it with $50,000 plus. NASA apparently was part of that seed money, so it's really like a NASA school. Now, Attleboro Elementary, it actually is the National Explorer School program, and it's a wonderful school to work with, and they'll bring the kids into the planetarium, and they really ask intelligent questions. They know what they're talking about. The planetarium itself, after 67, when it was built, we're still using the same equipment, but at one point they called the instructor back into the planetarium, back into the school to teach, and they shut it down for a time. Then three of us started to work and build it back up again with the help of the previous school board. They got a grant, and we were doing 3 shows, about 3 or 4 days a week. We come and do the shows. Now, a lot of the busing is going to Cranbrook, okay, to the planetarium. That is a movie theater, and they give a show. That's all it is.
We call it the Digiball because there's no better projector than ours. The next one near us is in Adrian, but they just got a new digital projector, but they kept their old one like ours, an old Smith HCP. And working with Adler, I think it should be an accelerated school, K through 8 even, where they would bring the robotics and whatever to the school. We have a lab table in the planetarium, more like a science room in the planetarium. But I want to invite you to a show at the planetarium, and there's a bunch of items we have to discuss about how we handle this planetarium, because we do shows for all the communities. In fact, I did a show for Roper, across from Cranbrook, and they said to me, they sent them to Fulbright. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Best. I, too, have sat down with you, and I have been in the planetarium. I've enjoyed the shows, and the planetarium is property here in Southfield Public Schools, and we will continue to have programming for our children in the future. And I will appreciate sitting down with the entire group as regarding the planetarium show.
Ariel Rattler. Cherish.
That was me.
Okay.
When you called me.
Your address?
I love to, why?
Part of our meeting process, ma'am.
Okay, but you didn't ask everyone. It's accurate, but you have my name.
Okay.
Okay. Some of the points that I was concerned of mine I forgot to mention. I love the family at MacArthur, and that's how I feel that it is. I love the administration. I love Ms. Boyat, my baby's kindergarten teacher. She's at the school every day till 6 o'clock. She does a lot of things, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of other teachers that does that. My concern is how we're going to pick what teachers that you guys are going to lay off. I know in the packet it says that you'll follow your contractual, whatever the requirements are. I know some teachers, you know, may have taken time off to have babies. If you do it by priority and things like that, that doesn't mean that teachers that we should not keep on board. This merger is going to happen. You guys just voted on it. But I would feel better about it if the class sizes were smaller. I believe the contractual class size is 32 students. Currently, there's 25 or 26 students in my daughter's class. If we're closing and merging all of these schools, I'm willing to bet that that's going to push all the classes to 32. Maybe it should be reconsidered that we keep more teachers and make the class size smaller. Now, if you guys said we're doing a K through 12, it's going to be 15 kids per class, or even 18, that would make me feel a little bit better about the situation. Instead of saying we're closing all these schools, we're going to make the K through 12, and then I'm willing to bet we're going to have, like I said, the 32 max students there. Now, I'm going to jump to Lathrop to have a high school student, too. It's my understanding, I received something in the mail, and I spoke to the person in charge about the program where you can have dual enrollment. But it's also my understanding that it's very minimal the students that are accepted. I know you have to have a certain GPA, I know you have to have certain ACT scores, but it's been brought to my attention that students that do meet those requirements are still not accepted into that program. So it seems to me that it's saying that, yes, we have it, and we do have dual enrollment where kids can get college credit and not be $100,000 in debt with student loans like I am, which is wonderful, but is it open to enough students? Thanks.
Jean Washington.
in that respect, but one thing I do want to say is that I want it on record right now that as a parent, I want to be on that committee that is doing whatever it is that's happening next, because I don't want to have anything else happen to my kids without me being involved. And so I am right now publicly saying that Gene Washington is volunteering to be a part of whatever's happening next. I want to be in there because I don't want anything else being put in place and not feeling like I had a voice at all. Because I was at the first meeting, and I'm a teacher in this district, and a parent, and a resident, and I don't know if our voices were heard. I don't. I mean, I know they were heard physically, but I don't know what happened beyond that. But I want to make sure that my voice and the voice of the people that I talk to and work with and the families that I live with, live around me, that we can be included in what's going on. And so I know that there are things that have to take place, and I get that. I just want to know that we are, I don't know how the process is going to go as far as who is selected, but I'm putting right here in public that I would like to be a part of the process. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Ms. Hobbs Calhoun on Aberdeen. Excuse me.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Verna Hobbs Calhoun. I live at 27656 Aberdeen. I have a freshman and a senior at UHSA, and my senior, of course, is graduating Sunday. She's one of those going to use them on scholarship. So we are very pleased with the education that she's received. I do have a couple of concerns. First, on page 7, or number 17 of the document, reassures UHSA parents that our students will be able to go to continue in athletics. I have a concern, though, because as an educator in the district, I'm aware that MHSAA has rules. So I want to make sure that this isn't a maybe, a possibility, that my son can continue to be a part of the wrestling program and whatever sport that he wants to participate in. My second concern is, it says here that you want to gauge whether there's interest in our students participating in the band. Well, I have to say, out of the 126-member band, a third of that band is UHSA students. The drum major this past season, section leaders, one of the band captains was a part of the UHSA. And we have a keen interest in ensuring that it continues, that the traditions are upheld, that our students continue to participate. My freshman son is a new section leader going into the fall. Certainly, he wants to be able to continue in the capacity that he's, or to actually carry out that, since he just got the position. So we want to make sure that the band can, I mean, one of the things that I've noticed as an educator is that, we continue to send out information about how wonderful the band is, and we use that sometimes to lure people in and into Southfield High School, into the district. We're proud of them. We know that they've generated over $1 million in scholarships. But are we really doing all that we can to continue to keep it viable and alive? And are we continuing to ensure that our UHSA students who have been in these capacities of leadership can participate? This shouldn't be something that we should wonder about. If we believe that this is, that the band and music programs are things that we really want our students to be a part of, it shouldn't be optional. It shouldn't be something that we question. The third thing, as an educator, I'm concerned about the emotional piece. We keep talking about money, but we have students, we have real people who are involved in this. And so I'm wondering if it's possible to use our school psychologists over the next couple of years to help our students with the emotional piece that is happening as they blend into this new high school. So I think that I haven't heard any kind of plan that deals with that deals with the emotion of being charge of being a Blue Jay and being this new entity. They need to have an opportunity to talk, to sit down, to have someone understand what they're saying and what they're feeling, and to have those feelings validated. They can't just show up in 2017 and become, okay, you have a new name, you're a new entity. They have to be moved into that slowly, and they need to have someone validate their feelings. Sorry.
I will just quickly share that for all of our remaining audience, there will be forthcoming an implementation plan. Students, teachers, everyone will have a voice and be a part. That is the reason we're taking the time to make sure it is decent and in order.
But I don't just mean having a voice in terms of them being able to sit on a committee. I mean, someone like our school psychologist working with them. I mean, this emotional piece, I think, is being undervalued. I don't think anyone is really considering it. And it's something that's really important. What our students are important. This is what we do. This is why we're here. And so we can't just minimize.
Oh, we're not going to. We have psychologists, as you know, et cetera, in the buildings, and they will most definitely be a part of the celebrations, the additional conversations. There's a lot that needs to be a part of the process, and we understand, and I value your comments.
Thank you.
Nakia Smart.
I'm kind of small. Hi, everybody. I know the decision is already been made that my school is going to be gone. And that's sad to me. I know that you guys have looked at it from the financial standpoint, and I respect you guys' decision, but I also want you guys to know that from a student standpoint, it's a little bit harder to conceive. I'm overwhelmed. I'm looking around at my school and knowing that sign and that sign is not going to be there. In 2 years, my senior year, you're going to move me. And I feel like that's going to be a hard transition for me because, I've marched in the band for 2 years, going on 3 next year. The dance team, I have my jacket on, I just joined, and my senior year, that's not going to be there. It's going to be a band, and it's going to be a dance team, but it's not going to be this one. The one that I have school pride with, and my legacy is going to be gone. I know that you guys don't want to hear about legacy, but it's important because I've worked for this, and I'm working for this for 3 years, and that's going to be gone. And so, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, since it's happening, I live on Evergreen. Will there be buses there to take me to school all the way down to Southfield High?
We will work with the transportation team and the implementation team. As Dr. Ward said, she will be required to put together with the cabinet an implementation plan, and various members of this audience watching on television, should you want to be part of that, yes, please make it known. We will also have further discussions at the various locations back here in Lathrop, Adler, Brace, and our other schools as well. Chris Smart.
We were told by the timekeeper to step in because her name got overlooked when 2 names got bumped. This is Cherish Pittman. Her name was called, and then somehow it didn't get called again.
Go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay. I'm standing in the gap for her. She wants to speak. We are former family of Adler Elementary. And my son and my daughter both came to the school, and Cherish has comments. I'm currently a student at Bernie's K-8 Middle School, and I live in Farmington Hills, but I chose to stay in Southfield Schools, and I made 4.0 at the school, and I'm part of the National Junior Honor Society. I'm a band student, a choir student, and I'm doing pretty well at my school, and that's because because I went through Adler, and all the teachers there helped me to be the student I am now, and I was in academic games, and all the different programs that were available to the students with the garden and all that stuff that they allow students to take part in, and if Adler's gone, then all of those things that go along with Adler are gone. And Ms. Ragavan and the academic games were a big part of my success today, and if you close Adler, then all of that's going to be gone.
Thank you very much. Chris Smart. Harris. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Ms. Smart.
Hi, great hour. So much to say. I'm disappointed with the vote. My daughter was just up here speaking to high schoolers, and she went to Adler. And everything that you heard that was said was true for her, and true for why we went to that school in the first place. Adler. We started with the recommendations. I was at the first meeting. Nothing was said. The schools that were Grace Letterly and Adler were never mentioned or never meant to be closed by the recommendation. This is something that just sprang on everybody. And I don't think you took enough time with it, or if you did, you just weren't honest with us. I think that you can take longer than 2 years or longer than a year to implement these changes. I can understand the high schools need to merge. One of the harder things for us to accept is the expansion and creation of expanding universities. When we looked at the numbers of students, it didn't make sense. But if you close the elementary schools and you move the middle schools, then you end up having more students that have to be moved into places. Now, maybe that's not the intent. A lot of parents and people feel that university is treated like privilege. But it was interesting that when we looked at this, when we came in, and all the schools are here, but look at university. Bold. Look at me. I don't know if that's your intent, but this is how it's observed. This is how it's seen, and this is how it's felt. So, make a change. You need to move all the schools together. Move all the schools together. Don't create this super school or this evidence, or not evidence, this appearance of everything being equal. It's hard enough emotionally on the students. It's going to be harder when you create something and you take away. You want everybody to merge, be together, accept the changes. We're not time. The other questions I had, the main thing I wanted to ask is, I think it was something like $8.5 million being saved. How much money is it going to cost to retrofit the school? Because I've already heard that there's things missing. You got to put in chairs. You have to make the school ready for the changes. How much money is going to be put into making laser ready with electronic changes and the key fobs? And the transportation is a big issue, a huge issue. So that budget is going to have to increase. How much more money are we going to spend on transportation? Or you haven't yet told us that we have to transport our own kids. I'm done.
Thank you very much. Malaysia Green.
Hello, my name is Melissa Green. I have 3 students registered in SPS, Adler Elementary. I would like to first applaud the board and Dr. Linda Wood in the efforts to maintain the quality and cost control. And I understand at the work and the changes that need to be made to the district to make it work. My concern is the approach and the transparency. My concern is the approach and transparency of the school closures and consolidating efforts, particularly to Aber Elementary. I have two questions and one comment/request. Is report 53-100 available for the public, and if so, where can we obtain it? I would like to know what alternatives were considered to increase enrollment as opposed to close the schools. We're just learning about this, and if we were involved, I think we can make a difference. But what alternatives were considered? And lastly, my comment and request is to urge the board to reconsider the report, the recommendations to close schools, particularly Aber. As you see, there are people here who support this school. It has an active PTA, active partnership of community, teachers, parents, students. The environment is really unique. It's been said it's the only school K-5 south of I-696. For me in particular, and a lot of parents, that is why we chose Southfield schools, to maintain that K-5 setting. I've experienced other schools with the K-8 or K-12, and it's a huge concern. So I really would like the board to address those issues for me and for all of us here as far as transparency and where can we obtain this report.
The report can be obtained at JWE for those that don't have computers. Just make sure you make an appointment, let it be known that you're coming by to pick up a copy of the report. It can also be obtained electronically via our homepage, our webpage for those. And there's a separate webpage called Imagine 2020 under the Parents and Students link. Ms. Jones on Oak Brook Drive. Ms. Forbes on Spring Arbor. Ms. Bessie Burke.
Good evening. I have several questions, and I didn't see my questions or answers in this Imagine 2020. So many people have talked about the decline of enrollment, and I spoke with someone on the Citizen Advisory Commission or committee, and I was told that there's 3,904 homes in Southfield and Lathrop whose students attend schools outside of the district. I asked the question last week, what were you planning as a board to do to reach out and try to reclaim those students? 3,904 homes, we wouldn't have to close any schools. And I also felt that there's this big push for university, which I don't understand, because there's over 1,000 students attending Southfield Lathrop. You don't have 1,000 students combined with University High and MacArthur. And someone last week had made a suggestion that you look at moving, whether it's 2 or 3 students in the class, it's still called IB. You have IB autonomy. That would make more sense to have them K through 8 in this particular facility. You also talked about the number of square footage at Southfield High. University is already there. You could house MacArthur someplace there, and they would still be on the same campus. I must say that I'm rather disappointed, and that I feel that your clients are the community. The community should have a voice. You voted, and they have been silenced. So I'm very disappointed because you're elected officials, and you should be representing Southfield, Lathrop, and Southfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burton. And as I stated in my message earlier, we have had 14 different conversations or meetings throughout the district, Dr. Wood, myself, various board members. We had a community advisory group to send us recommendations, so we have been inclusive. I think, and this is just, no, I won't even. But anyway, Ms. Burton, if you want to sit down with this board or with me later on, as I've always recommended, we can sit down and have further discussion as anyone sitting in this audience or viewing this via TV.
And Washington said, yes, I will be there Thursday.
Thank you.
And I will be working with you, as well as any other thing that should come up, because I know about the advisory committee. Certainly, I was asked to be on that.
We understand. Thank you very much, Ms. Burton. I will now move to board matters. Now we'll start with Ms. Smith.
To my fellow colleagues, to the superintendent, the cabinet, to the community, I thank you all for being here, particularly to the community, to those who have stayed. It has taken a lot for me to keep back the emotion, especially when I see our young children come to the mic and express themselves so passionately to the point that they are brought to tears. I am an advocate of children and education. I ran on that. I didn't realize that so soon I was going to have to make such a hard and tough decision, but it has come, and I just want you all to know that my heart is with excellence in this district, our children, our families, and our community. I did not take this decision lightly. I studied all the materials, all the data that was provided. I asked the questions, and I will continue to ask the questions of my fellow community members in our next steps. I urge those who have not spoken of being involved in the next step that you do come on out, put your name in the hat so that you can also have a voice at the table. Again, I thank you so much, and I do passionately hope that you know that this was not an easy decision. Thank you.
Trustee Joyce. Trustee Lewis. Mr. Poole. Trustee Poole.
Yeah, just a reminder that Sunday, June 14th is our very special day, graduation day, and I believe it's at Shane Park. Starts at 9 o'clock at Southfield High School. Hope to see everyone out.
Trustee Rogers.
Yes, I just want to say to parents who are here and the staff that, again, we didn't take this decision lightly. We've had meetings almost every week, every day of the week since January, and we've had facts and figures brought to our attention. We've asked questions about the facts and figures. We discussed it in great detail. So your kids are just as important to us as they are to you. We value your comments, but the bottom line is we want this school district to be excellent. And the only way we can do that is to make changes. And we hope that you will work with us to achieve that. We don't just want one school in the district to be excellent. We want all of them to be excellent. Thank you.
Trustee Charles.
Three things quickly. I mentioned in my remarks, but I'll reiterate, we need you at study sessions. The majority of the work does not occur on the second Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the evening. It occurs multiple Tuesdays, multiple Thursdays, some Saturday morning, and we could throw a boulder and not hit one community member in the audience when we really do ask many of the questions that were asked in the last few weeks. I also am asking the residents of Southfield, I
can't speak to the residents of Lathrop about tax abatements, but our city council continuously, although I love them, don't get me wrong, continuously allows for tax abatements, where we get checks randomly to say, oh, by the way, we need about $700,000 back, or we need $2.5 million back. Those are unexpected expenses that come, and the state and the county require that we give that money. And it's like, where does it come from? So please, it's not all Southfield Public Schools, it's a lot of factors that roll into that. And then finally, the fact that if Governor Snyder or various Republicans across the country tout choice, everybody's in up, yay, choice. But when we say choice, when we say you have a choice, then it's a negative. I'm sorry, I pay taxes too. We all have choices. That's a good thing. And we hope that the choice will be SPS. And I'm standing out on faith that in 10 years, 5 years, Southfield Public Schools will be the model for the entire country. Because in case you had your head under a rock for the last 5 years, privatization of education is the momentum. And if you didn't know, now you know. They want it to be a business. And we're just trying to make it where it's still about teaching and learning. And I apologize if it's offensive, but we're offended every time Lansing changes the goal and makes us have to jump through hurdles that were not there just 2 days ago. So I applaud all the community members for their fervor. I would have been one of you too. And I just hope that you will work with us and recognize the vision and the ingenuity in this Imagine 2020.
Again, it has been very difficult. I've been sick. Some of our board members have been sick because of the decision we faced. It was the same decision 7 to 8 years ago when Kennedy closed. Imagine how those parents felt. Teachers. It was the same passion and zeal that the Eisenhower parents and the Lennon parents felt. This is not something we want to do, but let's not be real here. In order to do anything, it takes money. Money. So once again, I will ask the community, once again, to work supportively and collaboratively. All the ill will do nothing but destroy what we have been working on for so very long in Southfield. We provide hope. We save lives every day, and will continue to do that. I ask you once again to work with us. Now, I've heard several concerns. If, and I'll just speak for me, if we can find a way to not close a school, we won't close the school. That's not our intent. If we receive some type of windfall of money from the state because of tax abatements and other things that we don't have control over, we just hope and pray that it's coming, we will make the change. There's nothing to say that we can't make another decision in the next 12 to 15 months as we go through our implementation plan. And that's going to be the charge to our cabinet. But I need solutions. I've heard the opinions, but we can't vote or make decisions based on opinions. I need facts. We need facts. We need data. Once again, I applaud Southfield, you in the audience, you on camera, for the manner and the dignified manner in which we have taken care of business. Keep the thoughts coming. Keep the ideas coming. Where we can make a difference, we will. The only thing I would say once again in closing is that we will not allow someone else to come into our house and tell us how to conduct our business. That's not going to happen while we are board members. I hope everyone can work with us and understand how dearly and passionate we feel about all of our students, all of our taxpayers, all of the constituents in the community. And with that, announcements at future board meetings. Thursday, June 11th at 6 p.m. I hope many more people be in the audience because, like I said, over the last 6 years, there's 1 and 2. And we will go through the financials once again. June 16th at 6 p.m. is a board study session. June 23rd at 6 p.m. of student hearings. June 16th, study session, like our VP said. Please come and sit in and watch how we deliberate and debate. June 30th, another board study session. If you can attend, please come out. I will now ask for a motion to adjourn. It's been properly moved and supported. This meeting of the Southfield Public School Board of Education is adjourned.